Okay, call this regular council meeting for April the 24th, 2018 to order. Clerk, call the roll. Oops.
She will when she gets herself.
Yeah.
Dries,
Here.
Halter,
Here.
Hermes. Here. Lee,
Here.
Walther. Here. Moore.
Here. Prayer by Maria Walther.
Lord, we ask you to send your spirit of servanthood upon all of us gathered here this evening to do your work for the benefit of all in our community. We ask you to bless our elected and appointed officials so they may deliberate with wisdom and act with courage. Bless the members of our community who come here to speak before council so they state their cause with honesty and humility. Lord, we ask you to bless us all and everyone that has suffered a loss very recently in our community. They need help and prayers and understanding of what the loved one has departed, and they're suffering now. Everything that we do here tonight will move you to welcome us one day into your kingdom as good and faithful servants. And we ask this in the name of our brother Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of the minutes, and we have the minutes of the council meeting, the work session, April the 10th.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes.
Okay, well, wait, we have the, also the March 27th, and we do have a change here, and the prayer was led by, not Mr. Walther, but Mrs. Walther. Okay. All right. Other than that change, minutes are approved. Okay. And pass these. Okay, this is the time for residents to comment on matters before council. When recognized, please come forward to the lectern, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. This is not intended to be a dialogue with the council or village staff. If you have questions, the questions will be recorded and referred to the manager's office for response. This will allow time for thoughtful and thorough consideration to be given to each question. Council meetings are recorded for the ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and speakers may not yield any or all of their time to other speakers. You have anybody who wants to address council?
Yes. My name is Jennifer Nasser. I live at 8 Bachman Street. I've been there for 8 months, and I just love Greenhills with all my heart. I joined the Project Shine group, and they don't do a whole lot of work. I've kind of done a lot of work, you know, as a volunteer, raking leaves and picking up sticks and stuff like that. But I live on Bachman, and I have pictures of situations and properties that need attention. And I have the addresses on most of these pictures. They need attention. I don't know why they're going ignored. There's a vacant house across the street from mine. The back door is unlocked, and animals are going inside this property, including mine. And I don't want them coming out with bugs. So I would like to submit these pictures for your consideration. Hopefully something can get done with this decrepit looking, lots of decrepit stuff. That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, moving on. Reports of village officials. Oh.
Anthony Schuler, Ashby Street. Just caught it in the agenda packet. I noticed how in the minutes from last month's meeting, I think they need to be adjusted, for the fact that the lady that spoke as a private citizen to endorse the library levy spoke for 12 minutes, and then she had to have at least 3-minute interaction with council. That you all said that this isn't a question. I just want to bring that up. I don't think it's fair. And I myself have been seeing this feud between a resident and council going on for at least 15 years. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being, I feel like I'm being sued. We're all being sued as taxpayers. But I see it as certain council members edged on, and as well as a certain individual too, but for my council members, going onto the local blog site, criticizing them with their opinion, but adding on that having to participate in prayer or pledge of allegiance, I think that was inappropriate. I just feel that there needs to be a better way to have a dialogue and be respectful for everybody, and not have personality attacks on local media sites. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Council. I noticed that you have your one seat empty tonight, which I take it we're going to be coming up with someone new to put in there. Before the meeting, I spoke with Law Director Forbes regarding decorum. Apparently, there hasn't been enough training in this community to have a special meeting or a public meeting maintaining proper decorum. I happen to be the subject of some very vile behavior at the public meeting that was conducted on April 10th. Mr. Forbes tells me that it was actually Yvonne Kovac's responsibility to maintain control. So this evening I would like Mr. Forbes and parliamentarian Kathy Lives to address the topic of decorum and what we need here in the village to make sure that this doesn't happen again. I also would like to comment directly to Mr. Jack Lee, councilman, who chose to violate my reputation and my status as a Christian. Trust me, Mr. Lee, you are in no position to be doing that, and I am letting you know I did that harassment and it needs to stop. Going on to the Board of Revision valuation complaints, which were the subject of that meeting, I've furnished Clerk Lives with a recap. It appears that 14 of our public commission officials, both past and present, are part of this complaint, and the auditor's office has taken it very seriously. They actually have had to adjust their database to accommodate some of the new information. We had Christine Visnich, former council person, whose violation was a purported increase of $122,814, which would mean that if that was approved, she would still owe $3,720.40 in tax. Oscar Hoffman, former mayor, his home was undervalued not only by value but also by square footage to the tune of $70,778, netting $2,452.57 in unpaid tax. Tom Hoffman, his son, lives also on Avenel. He was undervalued both square footage and valuation to the tune of $98,608, with a total tax increase purported at $3,141.74. If they paid the proper tax that should have been assessed, they have actually evaded over $9,000 in tax, which would mean $2,014.24 to the village, $5,340.24 to the school district. The next street that had public officials on it is Bayham, where Bud Walterman, Greg Hermes, our Mayor David Moore, and past village
Your time's up,
manager
Pat.
Everly.
Thank you, Pat.
It's a
Have
total
your
of
seat. Take your seat.
$8,000 evaded.
Take your seat, Pat.
$264.
Ms. Andwan?
$264,245.
Ms. Andwan.
I will reference the third page so that
Take your seat.
you're
Take your
calling
seat.
me
Your
before
time
the
is
bell rang
up.
off and you're
Your time
interrupting
is
me.
up. Your time is
For
up.
Carini, the total evaded tax is $5,000 with a windfall to the village.
You're disrupting this meeting, Ms. Andwan. If you don't sit down, I'm having you removed. Did you hear me? I'll have you removed. So, settle down. Okay, moving on.
No, residents.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Sandy Walter. I'm not a resident of Greenhills, but a member of Messiah Lutheran Church on Bossy Lane. And the reason I'm here is we would like help from the city council on things we could do to help the village of Greenhills. One time OLR sponsored a Clean Up Greenhills, and we had several members of Messiah work with the OLR members, and we picked up all the litter around the commons and the shopping center and where the new library is. And last August, Chief Bertelman helped. We invited the police and the fire trucks up on our parking lot to touch the truck and sit in the cruiser. We had hot dogs, chips, and drinks, and we had a few people come, but we were thinking if we could do something like that on the commons and invite the other three churches to help, we could give out more things and have more people involved to learn more about being safe in Greenhills. So I'd like you to think about that and let us know if we can have permission to do that.
Okay.
And I didn't come with any other ideas or suggestions, but anything you have. I know the manager of the Ameristop in the shopping center said if all four churches work together, like if we wanted to have a toy drive, a food drive, a clothing drive, anything like that, he would provide a truck and deliver it wherever. So, but we need your help for ideas. And a year ago, I went and saw Chief Bertelman, and I came with some ideas, but he had much better ones that we used to help the police department. So that's why I'm asking you for your suggestions, and then I would go ahead and contact the other churches and get us to work together, because we did have a Greenhills church tour where all four churches had open house and refreshments, and we had quite a few people from the community come. So I know they would work with us to do something to help the community. We just like to know what's the best things we could do to help.
Okay, and do you have a contact number?
Yeah, make sure they sign the sheet if you.
Yeah, did you sign the sheet?
Sign the sheet on.
Sign the sheet with a phone number that way.
Where we can get in touch with you.
Okay, let me get it.
Thank you.
I did sign my name.
Oh, okay, good. Is
Do you have a number? You put in the phone number?
And my phone number.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
You're welcome, thank you.
Okay. All right, anybody else? All right, moving on. Municipal Manager, Yvonne Kovac.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to start this evening with public record requests from the first quarter of the year. First one was received from Patricia Anwan, January 24th. Our record request for electronic copies of all village communications, resolutions, emails, invoices that relate to the installation of a physical barrier and signage to prohibit citizens from speaking with council members. Second, request for the motion, resolution, vote, minutes, emails, communications, which lead to the implementation of limiting citizen comments. Third, record request for motion, resolution, vote, minutes, emails, communications, which led to the implementation refusing to respond to citizen questions in real time. 4, request of the law director to furnish copies of reference to any legal precedent cases that allow an Ohio village to legally shirk their duties of transparency and accountability. Petition and one from February 10th, copies of the following public records. February 8th, my letter to Harvey Smith. Number 2, all village written correspondence from Village Greenhills officials to any preservation organization. 3, all village written communication from Village Greenhills officials to Jeffrey Burt. Number 4, all village written communications from Village of Greenhills officials to members of the Greenhills Historical Society, including emails in 2016, 17, and 18. All village written communication from and to Village of Greenhills officials wherein my name, Patricia Anwan or Pat Anwan, is mentioned, 2016, 17, and 18. And number 6, all village written communication with Cincinnati area realtors regarding the Village of Greenhills and National Historic Landmark. Another one from Patricia Anwan, February 13th, requesting all videos or photos taken by the village pertaining to the contributing historic structures. Number 2, all evidence of marketing efforts undertaken by the village to sell the subject properties. Number 3, all evidence of communication with parties interested in purchase of said properties. Number 4, all contact information and communication from realtors who were anxious to list and sell these properties. Number 5, all evidence of the guidelines used by the village designed for consideration of sale. Number 6, all evidence of verification of an interested party's financial wherewithal, including credit background checks. Next one from Patricia Anwan on February 13th. First item, all NIC inspection records on the demolished Carwell buildings and 6-family on Chalmers from 2011 to 2017. Number 2, all rental inspection reports on Village of Greenhills properties from 2011 to present. Number 3, copies of all rental permits issued from 2011 to present. Number 4, all citation reports from NIC on Greenhills properties from 2011 to present. Number 5, all invoices or yearly reports for payments to NIC from 2011 to present. Number 6, the criteria used for NIC building maintenance inspection, interior and exterior. Next one is from Patricia Anwan, February 13th, requesting a copy of the current master plan for the village and a copy of the master plan for the village prior to the current plan. Next one is from Patricia Anwan, February 13th, requesting the Justin Hartzog letter memo furnished to me by the Greenhills Historical Society. And the next one actually falls into this quarter, but I want to read it anyway because I feel it's relevant to something that's going on right now. This one is from Patricia Anwan, dated April 12th. Requesting copies of all 2018 correspondence with the Hamilton County Auditor Dusty Rhodes and the Auditor's Office with respect to assess property valuations in the Village of Greenhills. Number 2, copies of all handouts presented to citizens at the April 10th special meeting. Number 3, a complete copy of the video made by the Village of Greenhills of the special meeting. Number 4, a copy of the map exhibit that was on display. Number 5, copies of all communication with the public, citizens, council, media with respect to the border revisions. Item number 6, copy of any proposed counter-complaint and/or letter of official stance pertaining to this matter, which the Village of Greenhills intends to file or has filed. And that concludes my report on public records. We have some other things I want to report on. In your packet tonight, the tree bids are there, so we hope to get started on that as soon as possible. 6 packets were requested, and we ended up with 2 bids. And Gregory Force Lester was the lowest of the bids. Of great news, we received it's a little over $3,000, an Ohio History Grant to help us get started scanning the building plans we have downstairs to get those online for people to access them electronically. So that was good news. I also wanted to let you know that our online version of the code is updated through March 28th. So always refer to that. It's always going to be the most current that we have because we do get it updated quarterly. Also on your agenda tonight is Gulf Manor Agreement. This is an amendment from the one you had passed last year, and basically what's going on there is they are redefining the finance director's role, actually expanding his duties with them, and with that they want to increase his compensation. So we would pass that through to him for the work that he does in Gulf Manor. I wanted to let you know that I have put together a joint meeting of Planning Commission and Council. It will be at the work session on May 8th. So I'll be getting notices out to you on that. The purpose of that is to discuss the local historic district. We had, just so you know, grass notices have started going out They're being posted as well. As you know, we have to wait till certified mail comes back for the first time each year, and then after that, we don't have to give repeated notice, but there's always a little lag time, but that process has started. And finally, our street repair bids are due on May 3rd for the streets that we reviewed at a previous meeting. And I think that's all I have right now.
Comments or questions?
Yeah, I did notice that some of the new oak trees have already been planted, so
They have.
looking forward to the 27th.
Yeah. Should be neat. The program's going over real well so far, I'm pleased.
Good.
Yeah.
Ms. Coven, the planning commission meeting, you said it's together with the work session, is it before, after, during? What-
Will be at 7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock,
Planning
okay.
Commission, actually, I'm scheduling a meeting on another topic for them at 6:30, but then they'll
Okay.
come with council for the joint meeting at 7.
Okay, thank you.
Law Director Jeff Forbes.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe that you've all received a copy of the Law Director's report for this month, so I won't read the entire thing. I'll just point out one of them that I think is worth mentioning is a legislative update on House Bill 478. By way of background, if you remember, the state legislature had passed a law previously that severely limited municipalities' ability to regulate small cell facilities in the right-of-way. And that led to a lawsuit by a coalition of municipalities. And the trial court initially ruled that that law was unconstitutional because it violated the single subject rule. In essence, it was rolled in with about 7 other different things. So it was held unconstitutional. The state of Ohio appealed that, and it's been kicking around at the Court of Appeals for some time now. In response to that, House Bill 478 was introduced, and that is now a standalone bill to address the same thing, the small cell facilities and municipal right-of-way. And that bill has actually passed now, and it is on its way to the governor, awaiting his signature now. But the reason I mention it is because I think it's worth noting it is not identical to what was struck down by the trial court in the previous version. Instead, the Ohio Municipal League, other municipal representatives, and the representatives from the wireless carriers sort of got together, in essence, negotiated a new version. And you now have, or will have, when this gets signed by the governor, you will have authority to regulate these facilities in your right-of-way. So it's better than the law that initially was struck down. It's not perfect in the sense that it still is state regulation telling you what you can and cannot regulate in your right-of-way, but by all accounts, it's a much more acceptable version for municipalities. We just found out that it's been adopted. The governor hasn't signed it yet, so we're in the process of doing sort of a deeper analysis of what you will and will not be able to do. But the general sense initially is that it's better than the old one.
Isn't that kind of contrary to Supreme Court decisions relative to home rule over public utilities?
Well, that was an issue in the lawsuit when they initially, in the former law, it's been struck down now. When that was challenged in court, it was challenged on 2 fronts. One was it's a violation of the single subject rule, and also it's a violation of our home rule authority to regulate our own municipal right-of-way. Because the law was struck down on the single subject violation, the court never got to the home rule question because they didn't need to. And they said if this comes back to us for any reason, we can address it then. But I suspect now that this law is likely to go into effect, the appeal of that other case will likely just go away because the law that's being challenged has now been superseded by a new one. there is still a valid, I think you still have a valid argument that even this, it's better, but even this could violate home rule theories that we should be able to regulate our own municipal right-of-way. But it's a time where you have to pick your battles, and we'll see if anybody wants to pick this battle. We did when it was really bad. Now we have to see if this is what we want to just live with or not.
What kind of hardware are we talking about? I'm not exactly sure. It's not my field of expertise.
There are different versions of this. What I can tell you, what it is not, is the traditional big cell tower.
Right.
What these generally are some sort of box that gets attached to an existing pole sometimes. Other times, even if there's no pole, they'll install a pole. Sometimes it looks like a utility box that's bolted onto a pole. It can be done in a way that it could look like a street light. And all the mechanics are inside of this more aesthetically pleasing. Those are what the industry actually refers to those as stealth units, because they can be made to look like a lot of other things.
Do we have any in the village right now?
No, it's a rollout of 5G is what
Right.
it is.
There are some, I mean, not in the village, but if you drive around the greater Cincinnati area, there are some. Some you would never know.
I might not know any of them.
Others, if you knew what you were looking for, you would realize that's what it is.
There's one in Tri-County by Lowe's over there. As you come around, it's a DSW, the shoe place. There's one there, but
They are, I'm oversimplifying it, but it's basically, we have the old big traditional cell towers that are spaced around, and we live in a world right now where everybody and every 12-year-old has a smartphone. And there are so many devices using that wireless data that it can't keep up with demand. So these facilities, they're smaller. They're these distributed antenna systems that are installed basically to fill in the gaps that the big towers can't handle anymore. That's the theory behind it. And yes, it is very much related to the rollout of 5G. Unless there are any other questions, though, that would
Mr.
conclude.
Forbes, on the House Bill 228, what are the changes that we need to be aware of?
220, I don't know what House Bill 228.
Stand your ground?
Okay.
No?
I don't know. I have
Okay.
not, that is not one that's fallen sort of under our radar.
Okay.
Generally what we're trying to follow are the ones that have impact on municipal governments. I understand that law enforcement might be tracking that one, but I'm generally focused. If that's one you'd like us to watch, we can. But I can't speak to it because I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, moving on, Clerk of Council, Kathy Lives.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The April 2018 Community Calendar ordinance numbers 2018-02 LNR and 03 LNR and resolution numbers 2018-08F and 09F were posted as required. The Law Director's written report for March 27th, 2018 council meeting was forwarded to the mayor and members of council and the village manager. Notice of council support for the Hamilton County Library levy was forwarded to the appropriate officials. And the Hamilton County Board of Elections and the Ohio Secretary of State were notified of Mr. Jeff Gavo's resignation from the Council of the Village of Greenhills. And if there are no questions, that would conclude my report.
All right, moving on, Chief of Police Neil Fertelman.
Thanks, Mayor. We were very pleased that on March 29th, Officer Mike Willis of our department received an award of excellence from the Mothers Against Drunk Driving and AAA. He had the highest number of arrests for operating a vehicle under the influence. He made 9 of a total of 17 OBI arrests in the department. He was just hired in January of 2017 and made most of these arrests after being released from training. Lieutenant Ward, who nominated him for this award, wrote that being a new officer, we believe that he did a great job in his first year on the job with the department. We're very pleased that he's continued that. We were lapsed for a few years, but Officer Andy Moore is now back coordinating the program of the OVI task force, so we do receive grant money to put officers out to watch for impaired drivers, and that's certainly a benefit to our citizens who trust the safety of the roads. We did make an arrest in a criminal damaging case that got some publicity. We had a total of 6 residents who were victimized by having their cars marked that were parked near driveways. And the individual also was a neighbor in the same section, in the I section, where those occurred. We did receive a very nice thank you note from the Westerville community. 2 officers were murdered on duty in response to a call up there. Officer Zach Clark volunteered to represent the department, and he went, and we received a handwritten letter from some of the school students up there that said, "Westerville strong, we would like to thank the officers who protect us. Thank you." We're continuing to work on to replace our older policy manual. We have, out of 61 new general orders, all but 4 are now complete. I'm proofreading 1 in between other things. So we're closing in on the culmination of that project. We're incorporating new CALEA standards that were incorporated in 2017, as well as state collaborative standards, and have complied with all of those. And speaking of CALEA, we just recently underwent a new online CALEA certification. They're doing a check annually on our policies and procedures, and they do that online and electronically. We were just reviewed by a veteran CALEA assessor by the name of Portia Swinson of Maryland. During the month of March, we investigated 5 accidents, 1 Part 1 crime, and 243 other incidents. Of a total of 609 contacts, 221 of those were dispatched or received by phone, and 388 were self-initiated by our officers. We provided assistance to the public in 116 instances. We assisted other agencies 32 times, made 43 criminal arrests, and 70 traffic arrests. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Comments or questions of the chief?
I just want to thank the chief. I received a report from the officer that checked the commons for the egg hunt, and very happy to see that there was none of my fears were confirmed. So in other words, he was not able to find any needles or syringes or anything like that, because my concern was when the children were going to be going for the egg hunt and dive into the commons, if it would be something like that would be dangerous.
We did a double collaboration on that. Not only did the officer check it, but a few days earlier, our services crew also checked it for us.
I really appreciated that. And my next question is to you. What are the changes, if any changes, on the House Bill 228 about the standing your ground?
I don't know anything recent on it. I don't think there's been any movement on it recently that I know of, but I'll double check and let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, I have the municipal court distribution summary sheet for the month of March. The county received $94.50. The state of Ohio received $2,633.50. And the village of Greenhills, $12,864, for a grand total of $15,592. And that's all I have. Unless anybody's got a question. All right, moving on, committee reports, Recreation Cable TV, Maria Walther.
The next meeting for the cable television is for Waycross meeting at 7 p.m. on June the 13th. For the recreation, we have not had a meeting per se because I was missing my co-chair. We have for notification of the things that are coming up would be a Memorial Day parade. And that starts at 10:30 from the American Legion Post, 5:30. The band will be playing in the Commons about 10:45. The parade starts from the post for the lot there, heading south to the Commons. 11 o'clock, the national anthem, greeting from the mayor, chaplain's prayers, first commander's speech, auxiliary president's speech, and dedication of the wreath. We're going to have, and that's on the 28th of May. Closer to us will be on the 27th, the Arbor Day ceremonies, and with the help of Ms. Kovac, I have here a map where the X is going to be. I believe it's at 11 o'clock. And it's a tree in front of the Marquardt House. And I will submit this to the person that is going to be providing for, it was going to be a magnolia tree, and it's in memory of my husband. The May the 30th, we have the first concert in the Commons. And June the 6th is Jim Miller Day, so let's not forget that and go and say congratulations to a fine gentleman that has done a lot for bringing those concerts to the Commons. And that's all I have right now. We have, council would be happy to know that we have secure music for the Harvest Fest coming up. We have been able to do a couple of extra things like that. So we started in January, and we go step by step on that. So we're working on that.
And if people don't know, the Marquardt House is right next to this building. The 200 and plus, I forgot how many years. Yeah. Over 200 years old. All right, Finance and Audit, Mr. Dries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have not had a meeting since our last council meeting for Finance and Audit. However, the theme of the 2018 budget is plan your work and work your plan. I'm pleased to report we're doing that. Year-to-date revenue is $41,000 ahead of last year. $10,000 of that is from real estate taxes and $25,000 that is from income taxes. And as we get through the first quarter, and these are end of the quarter numbers, we start to see the picture of our finances for the year taking shape. And so we're a little bit ahead on revenue, which is a positive thing. Our fund balance is actually a little higher than last year. That will trickle down as the year goes on. That is our plan. And from a general fund expense standpoint, we've spent about $80,000 more than last year. Last year at this time, we spent 31.68% of our appropriated amount. This year, we spent 31.31%, so we're on a very, very similar glide path. There's nothing that has been terribly unexpected, either on a positive front or a negative front with our budget, and I don't have any shocking news to report, and we're hoping for a very dull year financially. Just work the plan, and we'll be in good shape.
Okay. All right. Any questions? Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules. Jack Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our committee met yesterday, Monday, the 23rd, and we reviewed outstanding items on our agenda, which include the shopping center signage license agreement, private golf cart release form, and proposed changes to ordinance 303.6 relative to abandoned junk vehicles within the village. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for May 21st, Monday at 9 a.m. That's my report.
Comments or questions? Not. Moving on, community development, Mr. Halder.
Yes, we had a community development meeting on April 5th. Also, along with the mayor and David Lumsden, we attended, what would you call it, a critique at DAP, the design school at UC. They had looked at the village in general. It was kind of a independent, I call it independent study. It wasn't anything that we instigated. They came to the village and took gave it to the students to look at what possibilities could be there. for me, it's not for the faint of heart, because there were some suggestions as like, oh, I don't know if you could do that, but in the spirit of students and letting them have the freedom that they can enjoy while they're students, we were good sports and rolled along. But some very good ideas too. One of the things that came up was possible walkway over Winton Woods and some other things that would love to possibly do, but also the finances on something like that are pretty ambitious. Thank you to Messiah Lutheran Church for your generous offer. I think anything that promotes community and promotes just a oneness of spirit is just a wonderful thing, and hopefully we can talk and work something out and have something happen. Also, thank you for the residents that bring up their concerns about zoning issues. It's a very, very tricky thing in the sense that there are some things that fall under the category of freedom of speech, where someone would say this is art and I'm allowed to have it in my lawn. It gets really touchy when we start to say, well, that's not art, that's trash. But we do have those issues that we have to be sensitive about, and it's not an excuse to do what we should be doing. But whenever there's something that doesn't seem to align, we should be addressing it. And especially like the street sign, you had that one photograph. I know we went around and updated those a number of times. Hard thing to stay on top of, because they could look fine 1 minute and all of a sudden a piece of wood breaks off of those and we're back to the starting point. But those things are taken seriously, and it's important for our community to enforce what we have in place. So that concludes my report.
Okay. Comments or questions? And do you have anything for service and streets to add?
We don't.
Okay, all right. Did we want to mention the county grant?
Oh, sure, absolutely, that would be a good time. Municipal road fund money, we did receive an allocation for the next phase of Winton Road improvements. The bulk of that probably won't be funded until 2019, but we're building our pot, so it is going to happen soon, and we did receive of that money.
One thing to add on to that, it's just amazing. You're outside the village and you feel like I'm on a backcountry rocky road, and then you hit the village and it's smooth and quiet. I'm looking forward to the day when some of those other roads are finished, and I'm glad that we stay on top of that as much as we can and get the funding we can to have good roads in the village.
Winton Road south of?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know. I have to either turn the radio up or off or something. I don't know. It's quite the challenge. It's more of an entertainment, I guess, and more discouragement.
Safety, Melanie Hermes.
We had a meeting today at 5:15. We did have one outstanding old item we discussed. We had mentioned in our last meeting about CDBG funding possibility for an issue that a resident had that was brought to the safety committee, but we're hoping that when money gets released in July, hopefully July, that might be something that could be considered to be applied for, so we'll be communicating that with the resident. We also discussed red light camera legislation. As a committee, it's not something we're interested in, but we did look it over, and it is not a favorable thing. Basically, if you did something with red light camera, if you got any revenue, the state would take the same amount of revenue away from you. So it would just be added expense for no gain, but it was just something that we looked at. We discussed some of the items that the chief had put on his report, but we also mentioned that the bike rodeo that was done last year, they're looking to coordinate that again for this year, along with helmet giveaways. There's going to be a coffee with the cop sometime coming up soon. We'll keep you posted. Possibility of an abbreviated Citizens Police Academy, or that they're talking about doing some changes to make a shorter version. And then we mentioned the general orders that were being updated. And then we did have an executive session just to discuss compensation of public employees. We adjourned at 5:52, and our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for July 26th at 5:15, prior to our council meeting in June.
June 26th.
June 26th. Did I say July?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
It's because of the CDBG funding. It was stuck in my head, so I apologize. So June 26th, every other month is when we plan to meet. Question?
Was there any discussion of the self-defense class from the police department?
I know that was, we did that last year.
Yes, we're looking at that again.
Okay.
We have Zach Clark, who's been trained and is now certified to teach that.
Awesome, thank you.
Should we do it here
That's
in
what
front of, instead of a council meeting?
Wait, somebody.
I guess this would be relevant under safety. I just want, through the magic of modern technology, I can now tell you, House Bill 228, which is related to self-defense and handling firearms, was introduced in the House on May 16th of last year. On May 23rd of last year, it was referred to a committee, and nothing else has ever happened since then.
That's
So-
what I've asked, because it has seemed to be dormant.
Yes, it
Okay.
is. So nothing more has happened.
When would it be eliminated or brought back up to life, or when, any guesses?
It can stay there through this term
Okay.
of the legislature, and if nothing more happens after that, then it will die.
It will
and
die.
It can be reintroduced.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a comment, a strong comment on the red light camera. I don't think we should be looking at it as a revenue generator. I think we should be looking at it as a safety issue. I've run into probably 5 different people driving through red lights, and they're not even borderline red lights. These are people that don't stop and drive through a red light. And so much so that you coming out of Farragut, even if it's green, I want to make sure people stop before I pull out. I'm real concerned that that's going to have real bad consequences. And if a red light camera addresses that, I would help donate towards it if we needed to. But I think we should relook at that. I don't think it should be a revenue question.
Did you give him the report? We have a report we'll give you, to share with you. That legislation's still pending, but it's convoluted, needless to say. That would be my legal interpretation.
I like that, yeah.
Convoluted, yeah.
All right, moving on. New business, we have resolution number 2018-10-F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers. Mr. Greaves.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2810F, resolution making supplemental appropriations and transfers, whereas the 2018 annual appropriations that were adopted on December 12, 2017 are to be amended, and whereas appropriations must not exceed total available resources of the village per Ohio Revised Code 5705.36A5. Therefore, an amended certificate of estimated resources has been requested from the County Budget Commission. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, that Section 1, since certain actions are needed in the monies appropriated so to permit the Village of Greenhills to meet its fiscal obligations for the year 2018, the following items of expenditure are to supplement the appropriations for expenditure for the year 2018. Fund 2081, Drug Enforcement and Education, appropriation $4,000, change $4,000, total $8,000. Fund 2271, Enforcement and Education, OVI, appropriation $100, change $300, total $400. Fund 4501, Shade Tree Maintenance Fund, appropriation $50,000, change $40,000, total $90,000. Section 2, this resolution shall take effect and be in full force from and after the earliest date allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yvonne, you want to comment on the change on the shade tree?
Sure. It's simply taken from the fund balance that we did not spend last year. We had intended to bid for the removals last year and did not get to that. So this year we have both removals planned and plantings planned. So we're going to need most of it.
Okay.
And I asked him to put that much in because as the year goes on, we also have maybe some emergency prunings and things like that that we have to do. So that's the reason for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, clerk call the roll.
Freeze.
Aye.
Halter.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Okay, resolution 2018-F, 10F passes. Okay, the next one's resolution 2018-11-SNS, resolution authorizing assessments on certain properties in the village of Greenhills. Mr. Lee.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2018-11 SNS, resolution authorizing the assessments on certain properties in the village of Greenhills. Whereas the village has given proper notice to the owners of certain real property in the village of Greenhills regarding the removal of vegetation, refuge, garbage, and/or debris from properties listed below, and whereas the owners of said properties did not take action to remedy the violations, and therefore the village of Greenhills contracted to remove the vegetation, refuge, garbage, and/or debris, and now seeks to collect said expenses by authorizing the placement of a lien upon the lands and collected as other taxes. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Section 1, that the Village Council hereby certifies that the costs of such labor, together with expenses relative thereto, be filed upon on the return and statement of the Hamilton County Commissioners as an assessment against the properties listed and placed as a lien against the properties by the Auditor of Hamilton County, Ohio, as follows. Description: 597-007-0016-00. Address: 8 Burley Circle. Owner: Equity Trust Company, FBO Sandra Stanley, IRA. Cost $113.99. Description: 597-008-0209-00, 61 Burley Circle. Owner: Zachary W. Fink. Cost $268.49. Property description: 597-0080-0067-00, 4 Brandnor Court, or Brandnor Place, pardon me. Owner: Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation. Cost $3,219.44. Description: 597-0080-0175-002 Beckford Drive. Owner: JTSS Investments, LLC. Cost $135.62. Description: 597-0080-37-005 Bachman Street. Owner: William J. McCaster. $218.23. Description: 597-0030-0007-00, 83 Farragut Road. Owner: Timothy L. and Sherry L. Spa, $135.62. Description: 597-0030-0015-00, 129 Farragut Road. Owner: Lone Sheep LLC, $404.11. Description: 597-0010-0029-00, 381 Ingram Road. Owner Catherine Mullenhard Wilson, trustee. Cost $874.13. A total of $5,369.63. Section 2, all amounts collected as a result of this resolution shall be placed in the general fund of the Village of Green Hills. Section 3, that this resolution shall be effective immediately upon its passage. Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve this resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Halter.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
Okay, Resolution 2018-11-SNS passes. Next one's Resolution 2018-12-SNS. Resolution authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Gregory Forest Lester Incorporated for tree and stump removals. And Maria's got that.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, resolution number 2018-12 SNS, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into a contract with Gregory Forest Lester, Inc. for tree and stump removals. Whereas the Village of Green Hills sought bids from qualified vendors to provide tree pruning and removal services, and whereas Gregory Forest Lester, Inc. submitted the lowest and best bid for said services, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into a contract with Gregory Forest Lester, Inc. in the amount of approximately $48,450 for the tree pruning and removal project. Section 2, that the finance director is hereby authorized to pay said amount to Gregory Forest Lester, Inc. for said services. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and at the soonest possible date. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments? All right, hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Hermes.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
Halter.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2018-12-SNS passes. Okay, next resolution number 2018-13-F, authorizing the municipal manager into an amended shared service agreement with the Village of Gulf Manor for financial services. Mr. Dries.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Resolution 2018-13F, authorizing the municipal manager to enter into an amended shared service agreement with the Village of Gulf Manor for financial services. Whereas the Council of the Village of Green Hills is sharing the services of its finance director with the Village of Gulf Manor, and whereas the Council of the Village of Gulf Manor desires to change the title of the position being filled by said finance director and increase the compensation as a result of the change, and now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Green Hills, Ohio, Section 1, that the municipal manager is hereby authorized to enter into an amended agreement substantially in the form as that which is attached to Exhibit A. Section 2, that the finance director is hereby directed to deposit the proceeds of this agreement into the general fund of the village. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in force from and after the earliest date or earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move for the adoption of this resolution.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Lee.
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Dries.
Aye.
Halter.
Aye.
Hermes.
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2018-13-F passes. Next one, resolution number 2018-14-LNR, resolution authorizing the village clerk to forward to the Green Hills Planning Commission a proposed amendment to the Green Hills zoning code regarding the prohibition of medical marijuana for review and recommendations. Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution 2018-14-LNR, authorizing the village clerk to forward the Greenhills Planning to the Greenhills Planning Commission a proposed amendment to the Greenhills zoning code regarding the prohibition of medical marijuana for review and recommendation. Whereas amendments to the zoning code may be initiated by the passage of a resolution by the Village of Greenhills that is then certified by the village clerk and forwarded to the Greenhills Planning Commission for review and recommendation. And whereas the Council Committee on Intergovernmental Affairs, Laws and Rules has developed the attached proposed amendment and would like to initiate formal consideration of the item, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Greenhills, Ohio, Section 1, the village clerk shall certify and forward to the Greenhills Planning Commission the attached proposed amendment to the Greenhills zoning code. Section 2, the Greenhills Planning Commission, upon receipt of the amendment, shall review, discuss, and approve or modify the amendment, conduct a required public hearing, and convey amendments back to the village council with recommendations, all according to Section 1151.08 of the Greenhills Codified Ordinances, and Section 3, that the village council will eventually receive recommendations back from the Greenhills Planning Commission, at which time the village council will conduct a required public hearing and then either adopt or deny the recommendations or adopt some modification of the recommendations of the Greenhills Planning Commission. Section 4, that this resolution is and shall be effect from and after the earliest period allowed by law. Mr. Mayor, I move that we affirm this resolution.
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions? All right, clerk call the roll.
Walther?
Aye.
Trees?
Aye.
Halter?
Aye.
Hermes?
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Okay, resolution number 2018-14-LNR passes. Next item we have is a motion. Somebody want to read that motion?
I'll take it. I move to authorize the village solicitor to prepare and submit to the Hamilton County Board of Revisions counter complaints for properties located within the village of Greenhills, Ohio, for which a 2017 valuation complaint was filed.
Second.
Okay. Clerk call the roll.
Is there any discussion?
Any comments? Nope. Okay.
And that just requires a voice vote.
Voice vote? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. No nays? Okay. All right, and then for the next item, the clerk has graciously provided the steps we need to take for that. So,
I move to appoint a public official.
Second.
Can I do the next one, too? I move to amend the motion to strike after to appoint a public official and to insert to convene an executive session to discuss the appointment of a public official after taking up the calendar item.
Second.
any discussion?
What did that mean?
Any discussion here? None? Okay. All right. And the amendment before you is I move to amend a motion to strike to appoint a public official and to insert to convene an executive session to discuss the appointment of a public official after taking up the calendar item. Roll call?
Voice.
Oh.
It says roll call.
Oh,
Okay.
roll call, yeah. Okay, Dries,
Aye.
Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther.
Aye.
Okay. And I reread 3 again, or not?
The motion before you now,
Oh,
Is
okay. The
as
motion
amended.
before you now is
as amended.
as amended, to convene an executive session to discuss the appointment of a public official after taking up the calendar item. Roll call, or any discussion? All right, roll call.
And that one can be a voice.
That
That
one?
one can be a voice.
Oh, okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right.
Oh, yes, you need a motion. You do need a roll call vote, I'm sorry. Because it's
All
executive
right.
session.
For after the calendar.
After the calendar.
After the calendar.
Yes. Arbor Day on 4/27.
Oh, wait,
Wait.
roll call.
Oh.
Wait, we have to do a roll call on the amended motion because you're going into executive session. Thank you,
Okay.
Jim.
Okay.
Okay.
So Halter,
Aye.
Hermes,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Walther,
Aye.
Dries,
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now calendar.
Arbor Day, 4/27 at 11 o'clock in front of the Market House. May 30th is the first concert in the Commons. The Memorial Parade is May 28th, it's starting at 10 o'clock gathering, and at 10:15 the actual parade, and Waycross meeting at 7 p.m. on June the 13th.
Anything?
Safety Committee in June on the 26th at 5:15.
Planning Commission, May 8th at 6:30. Laws and Rules tentatively for May 21st at 9 a.m. And a gentle reminder that the golf course will be open if it ever stops raining. It's looking very nice. It's just
Very green.
very green, which it's supposed to. And pool signups for swim lessons and memberships are on the website, so get ready for summer if it ever stops raining.
A little better.
Anything else? All right, that's it. We'll adjourn after going into executive session. Is that right?
No.
With no action taken.
Do you anticipate any action after the executive session?
No.
Can somebody